Hello, my name is Radhika. I was born and raised in the Hare Krishna movement in India and various parts of the world. Today's topic is, do Hindu scriptures sanction slavery? As most people know, in the Bible and in the books of other Abrahamic religions, there are passages that sanction slavery. This is something that is commonly found in different religions. However, to answer the question about Hinduism, why don't we refer to the Manu Samhita? Verse 412. But a Brahmin who, because he is powerful, out of greed, makes initiated twice-born castes, against their will do the work of slaves, shall be fined by the king 600 panas. Verse 413. But a Shudra, whether bought or unbought, he may compel to do servile work. For he was created by the self-existent to be the slave of a Brahmin. A Shudra, though emancipated by his master, is not released from servitude, since that is innate in him. Who can set him free from it? There are slaves of 7 kinds: he who is made a captive under a standard, he who serves for his daily food, he who is born in the house, he who is bought and he who is given, he who is inherited from ancestors, and he who is enslaved by way of punishment. A wife, a son, and a slave. These 3 are declared to have no property. The wealth which they earn is acquired for him to whom they belong. A Brahmin may confidently seize the goods of his Shudra, slave. For as that slave can have no property, his master may take his possessions. The king should carefully compel Vaishyas and Shudras to perform the work prescribed for them, for if these 2 castes swerved from their duties, they would throw this whole world into confusion. For those of you who don't know, the caste system is a system in India that is enforced by Hinduism. This system has 4 classes of people. The Brahmins at the top, the Kshatriyas next, then the Vaishyas, and then the Sudras. What they normally don't talk about is that under Shudras, you also have sort of like a subcaste of people called Dalits. These are what people commonly refer to as the untouchables. And they call them the untouchables because it's literally like you're not allowed to touch them, otherwise you become contaminated. A Brahmin who touches an untouchable has to like wash his hands and burn his clothes or some shit like that. This caste system is reinforced not only in the Vedic scriptures, but also in the Puranas, the Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. On top of that, another way that they reinforce the caste system is through the concept of karma. If you want to know about karma, I already made a video about it, so watch it. It really will explain to you how they manage to keep the Shudras and the lower castes in their place. Now you'll get people who are saying, no, the caste system can still change even while you're still a Hindu or you believe in Krishna, because, for example, you have the examples of the Bhakti Sant, who are people of lower caste, like I think there's an example of Tukaram, Tulsidas, etc. And also a lot of Vaishnavas, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, who are used as examples of how Krishna doesn't want the caste system and he accepts everybody, and so in Hinduism we must accept everybody, which is fine. If you're going to try to use Krishna as an example of mercy towards the lower caste, that's great, but at the same time you need to destroy caste. And that's a really difficult thing to do. There's a huge contradiction there, because in the Gita, Krishna is supporting the caste system. You have to follow your dharma, you have to do your prescribed duty. He says to Arjuna, do your prescribed duty as a Kshatriya, you must kill. Hindus themselves have tried to use the example of these Bhakti Sants, who Krishna embraces, and the thing is, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. There's still a caste system in India. I mean, it's supposed to be illegal now by law, by the government, but there's still a caste system in play. A lot of people think along the lines of caste. I'm a Brahmin, so I'm not going to allow my daughter or son to marry a Sudra. No way. And there are a lot of things such as honor killings based upon caste. So despite all of these contradictions, despite the whole philosophy of Krishna accepts everybody, or that a pure devotee sees the soul within and does not judge people based upon their bodies, it's still there. I'm going to now refer to some quotes from Srila Prabhupada. He was the founding father of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, better known as ISKCON, better known as the Hare Krishnas. Prabhupada is the guy who founded the religion that I was brought up in, or at least that version of Hinduism. So, this is what he has to say regarding slavery. In a room conversation about the Varnashram system in February 14, 1977, in the town of Mayapur, India, Prabhupada said, "Shudra is to be controlled only. They are never to be given freedom. Just like in America, the blacks were slaves. They were under control. And since you have given them equal rights, they are disturbing, most disturbing, always creating a fearful situation, uncultured and drunkards. What training have they got? They have got equal right? That is best. To keep them under control as slaves, but give them sufficient food, sufficient cloth, not more than that. Then they will be satisfied." His words, not mine. Next, a lecture in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Los Angeles, January 1st, 1974. Prabhupada said, "So here this man was cheating, because here it said, Nripalingadharam, he was dressed like a king. Just like king is very gorgeously dressed, but his bodily feature, he was a black man. The black man means Shudra, and we all know what's in store for the Shudras in life, thanks to Hinduism." In a discussion with Shyamasundar Das about John Dewey, Prabhupada said, "Shudras have no brain. In America also, the whole America once belonged to the Red Indians. Why they could not improve? The land was there. Why these foreigners, the Europeans, came and improved? So Shudras cannot do this. They cannot make any correction." In a letter to Satsvarup, San Francisco, 9th of April, 1968, Prabhupada said, "Certainly we are not going to say these things about the Negro people publicly. We have no distinction between black or white, or demon or demigod, but at the same time, so long as one is demon or demigod, we have to behave in the proper way. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had no distinction between a tiger and a man. He was so powerful that he could convert even a tiger to dance. But so far as we are concerned, we should not imitate and go to some tiger and try to make him dance. But still, tiger is equally eligible like a man, so you can understand that these talks are not for the public, as they have not got the ability to understand." Prabhupada is saying that the public doesn't have the ability to understand why he's a racist asshole. Yeah, I wonder why. Why would the public not be able to understand that he compares black people, Negro people in his words, to tigers, and says, yes, we can also preach to them, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to preach to animals, so we should also preach to animals. What else did Prabhupada have to say about slavery? The woman must become a slave. So instead of becoming slaves of so many persons, it is better to remain satisfied, a slave of one person, satisfied, oh gosh. And our Vedic civilization, oh glory be to the wonderful Vedic civilization, says, Nari Rupam Pati Vratam. The woman is beautiful when she remains as a slave to the husband. That is the beauty, not the personal beauty. How much she has learned to remain as a slave to the husband, that is Vedic civilization. And the beauty of woman is how much she is devoted and obedient to the husband. So it is very difficult. This is on a morning walk, March 19th, 1976 in Mayapur, India. So, to answer the question, does Hinduism support slavery? Yes. Yes, it does. It supports slavery all the way. So for those of you who read the Bible and the Quran, etc., and you were like, oh, slavery, oh, that's not good. I don't want to be part of this religion anymore because it's morally fucked up. Hey, I'm going to be a Hindu now because apparently, like, they sound a little bit better. Oh, wait. No, they're just as bad. Good to know, isn't it? It really makes me wonder about the people who read these things. What do they think? Because I grew up a Hare Krishna. I grew up with the Hindu philosophy. But I didn't read the books because I was a kid. And so when I started reading these books and I started coming across these morally twisted quotes from Prabhupada and the Manu Smriti and etc., I was like, what is this? What's going on? You know? And of course that's what prompted me to investigate into my own religion. and find out that actually I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want anything to do with any kind of religion that's sanctions slavery, that's misogynistic and racist and classist and all this crap. It goes against my own, like, it just doesn't feel right for me. Like, I can understand somebody who's a religious person who's Christian or Muslim or Hindu, and they don't know this stuff. They haven't read the scriptures. They haven't read the holy books. They're just sort of following because that's what their parents told them to do, or they're like just going with the flow, like a flock of sheep. What I don't understand are the people who know this stuff, who have read the books, and they've read these quotes from Prabhupada, from the Manusmriti, etc., from the Bible, from the Quran, etc. What kind of a person are you if you know what they say and you're still religious? Like, how do you justify that in your head? How do you justify the absolute bullshit in your holy books and still say, oh yeah, God is good? I don't understand that. Like, unless it's somebody who's just a horrible, horrible person and using these things as an excuse to mistreat other people, I can't think of anybody who's a good person and has read this and is still okay with their religion. It just doesn't work in there. Maybe somebody could explain that to me. That would be interesting to know, just for the sake of finding out how fucked up people can get. Well, this was fun. Until next time. Ciao!